We're live.
Are we live?
We're telling your followers that you started a live video.
Yeah, look. It says it right there.
That's nice that you follow us.
You know, I thought it was a good thing to do. I thought it was considerate to follow the account that we support. So
It was.
everybody, as you're joining us, getting settled, wherever you are, whether that's Instagram, we see you, Instagrammers.
Facebook and YouTube.
Facebook and the YouTube.
Here
YouTube.
you are.
Glad everyone's here.
Yes. I also have my computer, so I'll be in the chat. I'll be chatting you up.
That's going to be fun.
Just gotta...
Get some things set up.
It's going to be weird because we're going to be on a delay on my computer.
Right.
Might get a little...
Yeah, we haven't done it this way before, have we?
We've never done 3 lives at once.
3 at once. So this is for y'all. This is for wherever you are. That's why we're doing this. So bear with us. There might be a little bit of tech glitch here, tech glitch there. We're gonna fix it. We'll figure it out. But we're good. We're good to go. We got the thumbs up from Matt, our video guy extraordinaire. If you don't know who Matt is, you should. He's a good egg. So, Tay.
Yes.
And everybody else.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To the
You
first.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is your desk, so
You know what?
thank you for welcoming me.
Of course. This is our desk, though. I feel like it's everybody's. And it's yours,
Everybody's
too.
desk.
So what are we doing here? What's going on? It's our first live of 2021. So welcome, everybody, to the new year. It's good to have you here in the new year in 2021 and not 2020 again. Yeah, so a couple announcements out the gate. Maker Mondays. Let's talk about Maker Mondays
We're
real quick.
doing that every Monday. We haven't for a while, actually.
It's been, consistently for what, 8 weeks now? Something like that?
Maybe more.
Maybe more?
Yeah.
What is Maker Monday, Tay?
Yes. Right now, it's mostly highlighting our affiliates every Monday. We're going to run out of affiliates, so it'll move to all makers who use our product.
Ooh.
And not just our product, but we like to highlight everyone with an email blast, social media posts, sometimes a podcast, sometimes a live here on Instagram.
It's a lot of exposure.
We do a text. We like to show off people's work. If they're affiliates, we give out their discount code, help them earn a couple extra bucks while showing off what they make with our products.
Incredible stuff.
Which is really cool. So if you want to do that, or if you've seen these Maker Monday posts and want that to be your face on your Instagram,
Where do I go?
you go to the link in our Instagram bio, YouTube and Facebook. Head over to the gram. There's a little link there, and it says Maker Monday application. That will go to Sydney and Janelle,
Nice.
2 of our incredible team members, and they'll hook you up.
They're pretty great.
Pretty easy.
Maker Mondays. Check them out, y'all. We got a couple coming up. We have Jake Thompson.
We should feature you.
Me?
Yeah. You're
No.
the maker.
Y'all
The
get
Maker
y'all
Monday.
y'all have enough of this. You don't
Maybe
need.
they'll chime in. Maybe everyone will request you.
Yeah,
But yes, we do have
You
Jake
would.
Thompson coming up.
Jake Thompson, Jared Pease coming up after that.
Yeah.
So a couple
Jared makes
good.
some cool
What does he do?
resin cubes,
Right.
Star Wars spheres, all that cool stuff.
That's good stuff.
Jake is just a good egg. He
Yeah.
talks about us on his YouTube channel
He's a great
all the
guy.
time. I hope he's in here somewhere.
Jake, if you're watching, we're happy you're here.
Hello,
regardless of where
Pack
you are.
Molds. Haven't
Pack
talked to you in a
Molds.
while.
What up, y'all? All right, so real quick, we got some stuff we want to do, but really today I want this to be about some questions you have. I'm here to answer them. A couple things I want to show you, but I kind of want to talk about what we're even doing here and kind of what Taylor and I are thinking moving into this new year. So this time when we're going live, y'all, this is your time. This is for you. We are here for you. That means your questions, that's what we want to answer. Your problems, that's what we want to problem solve. We could come in here and I could make something that I think is really cool, but that might not be helpful to you.
Right. And we have our own problems, and you guys don't want to hear about those.
Nah.
So we'd
No.
rather hear about yours and help you fix them for you.
Yeah. Maybe even some of that.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple ideas
Yes.
for these lives that we want to run by you. Some DIY demos that we'd like to do. The Q&A. Another segment that we're going to call Did You Know? We got one of those actually we're going to do for you today, so stay tuned for that.
Sure do.
Fix It, which is another idea that we came up with. That's literally either photos or the project itself, something that's gone wrong, a project that didn't work out the way you wanted to. We're actually going to have you send in your photos. We'll pull them up on the screen, and I'll tell you what I would do to fix it, maybe what I think caused it in the first place. and get you a leg up on what you've been working on. So
Yes, and
fix
I
it's
will
another one.
not do that.
What?
I don't know how to fix it.
Fair enough. Fair
I don't
enough.
use power tools. So my maybe I could try and fix everything without power.
Y'all, she knows more than she lets on. Trust me. Trust me on that. Tool time is going to be another one we're thinking about doing. Things that I'm interested in and maybe stuff I'm experimenting with and trying. For instance, little teaser there is got out the good old angle grinder with a power carving disc. And if you are on Instagram, you can check out the actual fake water that we experimented with and made. So that's a really cool tool tip there. And then technique tips, things I commonly see as well. But look, those are just our ideas. I bet y'all have ideas too. So tell us what you want this time to be for you, because this is all for y'all.
Yes.
That's it.
I've
It's not
got
for
all
us.
the chats up. All the chats going.
All the chats are happening
We're
right now.
up. People are saying we're on all their platforms. I'm watching us on our own YouTube channel right now.
A lot of Inception vibes happening
Welcome,
right now.
everyone. Yes. But if you leave a comment in one of these 3 chats, it will likely make its way to my eyeballs.
It will.
So.
It will, hopefully.
And
so
if not, I think Sydney's hanging out with us, and she's the bee's knees, so she'll
She
get
is.
your questions answered.
Sydney's
going to
get it taken care of. So as we go through today, put in those comments what you'd like to see us do. We're also going to do some Q&A, just general Q&A. Some of you have sent in questions ahead of time, so we're going to answer those. And then, like I said, I prepared a little Did You Know segment for us.
Very nice of you.
I
did not.
It's 2021. We got to start off on a good foot. So we're going to do that. So question is, do we have questions we already want to start with? Or do we want to jump right into the Did You Know?
I think we want to start with the Did You Know? I think we got to hook them in with a fun fact, which is
Throwing out the
actually...
script, y'all. It's gone. It's gone.
Let's get some facts. Let's get some fun.
All right, let's do it, Matt. Take us to Did You Know? Let's make it happen. Look at that.
Oh, the Facebook and YouTubers have a nice little graphic on screen right now.
IG, just
Instagram.
consider it. Next time, a channel switch, just consider it IG. But
We
there
love
you
you
go.
no matter where you're watching.
Oh.
Let's start there.
All right, Did You Know? The first one of the year. Look at this. This is a massive bucket. I'll get it on IG so you can see it as well. This is silicone. This is actually cubes of silicone.
What silicone is this?
This is Plat 25.
Okay.
So, Tay, did you know that you can reuse silicone?
How?
How
What am I
is
going
the
to
key.
use this for?
Yes.
I've got a bunch of cubes.
Great question. Great question here. So this was an absolute failure that I will completely confess to y'all.
I was there.
You were there.
It
I was
was.
trying a new mold making technique, and it did not work out well. But yeah, so I've cut up all these cubes. Here's the thing. Silicone sticks to pretty much one thing. And that thing is silicone, right? It sticks to itself.
100%.
So what you can actually do is get an object that you're going to make a mold of, right? Let's say like this R2-D2 here. I'm going to use some aluminum foil tape and create a real quick and dirty mold box for us here.
You're going to mold box live?
I'm going to mold box live.
Awesome.
Is that okay?
Yeah, very much
Sweet.
so.
And then I've already pre-cut, let me just tell you, some of the most satisfying things I've ever seen, but these really tiny cubes of that Plat 25 silicone. And I'm actually going to mix another batch, smaller batch of Plat 10, throw in these cubes, and then pour it. And it's going to save me so much volume, so much material that I would have maybe wasted before. So that's the
so
Did You Know
smart.
for today. I'm going to jump in and just kind of start doing
a
that.
demonstration.
I know.
Incredible.
Just trying to start the year off right.
Yeah,
That's
cutting
really
up
what's
that
going on.
silicone is extremely satisfying.
It is.
It takes a very long time and a very strong pocket knife, as we know.
You might have watched me do that a little
Yes.
bit ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably a little bit painful.
Yeah. Now talk us through this tape, because I don't think you've ever
Have I not done this on camera
done
for
this
y'all
on
before?
camera. Yeah, and I think it's so satisfying.
I'll be honest, I'm constantly trying to find new ways to make mold boxes.
Yeah. There are so many ways already.
There are a ton. And there's corrugated cardboard, there's foam core. I mean, honestly, the list goes on and on. But for me, I just hate sitting there hot gluing everything, and especially smaller pieces where it's just really, really painful and tedious to do. So I got hip to this aluminum tape game. It's just a simple piece of aluminum tape. It's backed, so you peel it apart, and then it's sticky right here. Here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and just unravel a good amount of this.
And it's usually used for like HVAC, stuff like that.
Yeah, good call. It's used in like heating and cooling, right? Because it's aluminum. This is actually aluminum, similar to like aluminum foil. So it works perfectly there. And all I'm going to do is just take this mold box, and I'm just going to, kind of haphazardly here. I've not done this with a microphone in front of me before.
Yeah.
A little more
new
challenging than I
every
expected.
day.
Yeah, a little bit more challenging than I
have
expected.
extra hands if you need them.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to go around. I'm just peeling the back. Oh, I can't tell you how satisfying this is compared to the consistently, the hot glue gun and consistently cutting. Now this is perfect. I would not recommend this for like really large molds. That's when you're going to have to deal with layers of this tape, and it just doesn't.
That's how we ended up with that bucket.
That's
of
how we ended up
cubes.
with a bucket of cubes. Yeah, if we're being honest, that's what happened. So, so I've literally just gone around the perimeter of this R2D2, given myself enough height on the inside. I don't need all this extra. I'll just save that for later. Yeah, there that goes. Right? We're almost there. We're almost there. And then all I'm going to do,
Nice.
fold the tape over the back. Normally, I would take a lot more time. Do this a little bit better here, folks, but...
Normally, we don't have an audience
And I'm quick.
at the same time.
I'm trying to be
the audience.
quick on the fly here.
We, in the meantime, have a lot of fans of our... I don't think you can see mine straight on.
The hoodies?
The Alumilite hoodies.
Aw,
People are
hoodie folk.
asking where they can buy them. Unfortunately, right now, you can't.
You got to join our team right now.
Yeah, it's an employees only situation. So
Currently,
if there
should
were
we change
ever-
that?
Probably.
Probably.
Everyone seems to want us to, but
We'll see.
If we're hiring, why change it? I
That's
don't
true.
know if we are hiring. Don't hold me to that.
All right, so I've got this mold box pretty much done here. I am going to make a little bit of a racket.
I hope that wasn't too terrible on people's
Hopefully everybody's
ears.
okay. I'm only doing that to make sure that I've got actually press this tape down along
Sure.
the bottom very well. But look at that. I mean, take the microphone out of the equation and the fact that I'm doing this live for y'all. I mean, that's a really fast mold box, really simple. Is it going to be the most beautiful mold with straight lines? No. Do you care? Probably not. So
You can always
easy.
cut the edges of your molds too.
Yep. Cut the edges, clean those up. That works. All right. So I'm going to get some PPE here.
Pressure's on. Do I need some safety glasses? I should probably
Yeah,
safety glass
I got,
up.
your yellows are over there.
Residuals.
Yeah, we don't
If you
want
joined
to.
us for the Michael's Lives in the past, you recognize this safety setup we've got going on.
That's right.
Always the yellow glasses over
Then
here.
I'm the guy with the prescription.
Sure. They're both equally uncool in different ways. So
You just got to lean into it,
But-
right?
we're not going to lose any eyes. So how uncool is it really?
Real talk. That's the actual question. All right. So look at this here. I've got R2D2. I can take a little bit more time, make sure it's not going to leak. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to mix up some Plat 10. I've got the A side and the B side here. This is 1-to-1 by weight. So
Grab the old scale.
get the old scale. I wasn't really planning on doing this big of a thing.
Yeah, me either, but
I'm just feeling
might
it,
as
you know?
well.
I'm feeling it.
I feel like you're used to talking while doing something, and so
I am.
probably a little bit natural.
Yeah, that's actually a fair assessment. Tay, any questions coming up so
Not
far?
Right now. Someone suggested using.
That was close.
Ooh.
Y'all almost saw that happen live. That would have been perfect.
Someone suggested trying jeweler's wax instead of hot glue when making mold
Oh.
boxes. And I don't even know what jeweler's wax is. Jordan.
Neither
I'm not
do
gonna lie
I.
to you yet. So
I gotta shoot you
maybe they
straight.
can give us a little bit more information there.
Yeah, what's jeweler's wax? Where'd that come through on?
That came through on YouTube
Ah,
from Lifehold Strategic. Ever use jeweler's wax instead of hot glue for mold boxes?
wow. No,
So
I have
really,
not.
when we say there are so many ways to mold a mold box,
We're not kidding.
No,
We're really not
the
kidding.
acrylic.
The acrylic is one of my
plastic,
favorites just
yes.
because you can actually see everything being poured and you can see it going over.
We
It's
did
really,
that
really
for
cool.
the Tug Ski sign that we made.
That's
which
right.
is on our TikTok. Just plugging another social channel while we're on 3 social channels. You're welcome.
There's a lot of social channels
Yes,
now.
but the TikTok has the full rundown of the acrylic mold box, which is satisfying because we dyed some of this silicone red. actually.
Jello red. It was like
Yes.
as red as I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Which if you're using our platinum line of silicone, if you're not using our silicones or experimenting with silicones, highly recommend.
Yes.
Highly recommend.
Some people don't even know that we have silicones. Maybe we should have started that as the Did You Know segment.
We have
Did you
silicones.
know we have silicones?
Yeah, that's actually a good call, Tay.
Yes.
Did you know?
I mean, even at Michael's, we sell our amazing mold
That's
rubber,
right.
our amazing mold putty.
Yep.
So if you've never ventured into that arena, keep it on the down low. We might have some new stuff coming out. Who's
TBD.
To say?
TBD.
Who's to say?
Who's to
You didn't
say?
hear it from us. Where else would they
I'm
hear it from?
absolutely throwing you under the bus, too,
Yeah.
if that
Well,
comes
Mike
back.
and Don, some more team members, are probably on here.
That's true.
So,
What's up, fam? Good to
they'll
have you.
just send me a text. What are you doing?
Oh, that's funny.
But yes, we have silicones. We have
We do.
so many.
We do.
We will be soon putting out a video walking you through all of the options that we have. So if this is something that's extremely overwhelming for you, Jordan will actually be
What's
on
going
camera
on?
walking through pretty much each silicone that we have, what project it might be good for.
Yeah, what it's good for, how I would decide to, what I found talking to y'all and answering a lot of questions is which silicone is best for this, which silicone is best for this, and I'm answering a lot of questions for everybody, with your specific project in mind. So what we've done, and we're going to launch it really soon, is kind of a silicone decision tree. So helping you figure out and navigate which one you should use without ever having to call us. But if you want to call us just to hang out and chat, go for it.
Yeah,
Because
but now
we
we
like
won't have to
chilling.
talk silicone. We can talk
I don't know.
other things.
How's your day going?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So,
Exactly.
All right, I got this Plat 10 here mixed up. If you wanted to degas this, go for it. I'm not going to today.
Nah.
We're hanging out. We're going into live. Look, I've got these little cubes that you can see that I've really mashed up. Instagram, there you go. I've like cut these up. I mean,
Those
they're
are tiny.
They're tiny. And here's why I did that.
Mm-hmm.
If I put a couple large chunks just right into this mold, well, they're touching R2D2. They're disrupting maybe the mold.
Right.
I want the silicone, this fresh batch of silicone, to really be the thing that's contacting the surface of R2D2. I want all
smoother
those
layer.
details.
Yeah.
Smoother layer. So a smaller thing like this, I cut it up further to make sure it was going to work for it. I have done bigger molds, though, using this kind of reuse method. And let me tell you, you can leave them that large. It doesn't matter at all. So pouring them right in. Look at that. It's like baking. Fantastic.
Little chocolate chips in there.
Yeah, I always hated that baking shows had everything pre-cut.
But really nice now.
Really nice
One
now.
of those,
Alton Brown, I totally get it. I totally get
I'm
it.
gonna take a drink and not make people listen to that.
There you go. So I've got this mixed up here. This looks like, snot. It looks like a much more chunky.
gram.
The people need to know. Instagram, this is for you. Look at that. It's a little chunky as well. And for y'all on YouTube and Facebook, there it is.
It's not always sexy stuff.
You know
we do
what?
over here.
But it's gonna
But it's
do
gonna
the
work,
trick.
and it's gonna save you money.
It's gonna save you money.
Yeah,
That's the big
you can't
thing
go
too.
wrong.
Even mistakes, you can salvage them. So, all right, there we go. Silicone is mixed up. R2D2. Instagram, you can see it. Facebook and YouTube. Let's make sure you can see it too. We're good to go.
Awesome. Let's pour.
Let's pour. And if this leaks because I didn't take my time with it, that's okay.
The trash is right next to me.
Here we go.
Can
So there
I ask
it is.
why you didn't use a mold release or anything like that?
Yeah, good question. So, like I said a little bit ago before we even did this, nothing sticks to silicone. So the silicone, besides silicone, so this silicone's not even going to adhere to anything. So you actually don't need a mold release initially when you're pouring silicone. Really, when you want mold release is for when you're using the silicone that you've actually poured, right? You want the resin to come out of that
Got
silicone
it.
a lot
So
easier.
next step.
Next step. Yep.
Sure.
So in some of those mold releases, you're spraying it in there to, for lack of a better term, let's say intensify, lubricate, whatever you want to call that silicone mold, so the resin actually comes out a lot easier. Every time you fill a mold with resin, you're causing a chemical reaction. You're beating up that silicone. So mold release is kind of like a little bit of extra, TLC to your mold. Extends the life of it. Your castings come out a lot easier. Mold release is perfect. But when you're just pouring a silicone mold, you don't need any mold release. You should be good to go. So,
Awesome.
so there you go. Look at that. That'll cure up eventually. It's not going to cure up while we're just hanging out with y'all, but that'll cure up eventually, and you can see I've saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
a lot
You
of
didn't
money.
mix up
so
a ton of silicone here.
no, I didn't even. I used maybe a quarter or.
Be careful of
Or
that
less than
bottom
that.
corner there.
I know it's a little scary, isn't it? This is me just sliding it out of frame
So
for
if
everybody.
it spills, no one can see.
Well, Matt's going to zoom in on it. I'm sure he's not going to let me off the hook. Of course he is. Of course.
One
so now we
question
can watch.
we just got is if we're cold because we're dressed like it's winter.
Couple thoughts. First
unfortunately.
thought is it is winter.
Michigan.
And we're in Michigan.
Winter.
So
I think
there
it's
you go.
22 outside today.
Yeah,
so
it's not warm. It's sunny, but it's still not
the
warm.
branded hoodies are on purpose.
They are.
Yeah,
They are.
intentional. We didn't do t-shirts for a reason because it's cold here all the time.
It is. The other thing, we can take our glasses off now. Safety is good to go if you don't want to be yellow anymore. The other piece of why we're wearing the hoodies is we turn the heating off when we go live with y'all because we don't want that intense noise. So
Yes.
we're a little bit chilly. That's
Okay,
it.
we have a question. If you mess up the edge of a mold, is there a way to fix it or make it still? Can you rephrase that? Sophia's Little Bo Peeps is one of our affiliates.
Oh.
Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure if she means if it's a little wonky or what we're talking here. So maybe some clarification.
Yeah, I'll answer what I think you're asking to make sure that it's and if I'm not answering it, please bug me and let me know.
Fair.
But if you've poured silicone into a mold, let's say you've used foam core and it's leaking at the bottom. My honest advice for you, and this comes from experience, like actual experience, is you're gonna have to kind of stay with that mold through the silicone's open time. Taylor was there.
I wish I had the
You were
video
there, right?
footage to pull up. It's on my phone. I'll post it on the story
man.
on Instagram after this. so
I
y'all
was.
can see it.
It was early in my days here,
It was.
and I had made this cat mold, and I had followed what I thought was like the right way with this new material I was using for mold boxes, corrugated plastic, and I just goofed, and I didn't get the coverage that I thought, and it just started slowly leaking like lava, and I had to, with just like a spatula, I just took the leak, put it in the top, and I just did that for like 30 minutes.
It was a long time. You were scooping it literally off of the ground at times.
Yeah.
All the way back up into the mold.
Yeah. So if
Good
you,
time. Matt's laughing over here.
hey, come on now, be nice, okay? Be nice. No, I was definitely, I was making mistakes because I was, getting used to something I wasn't used to yet. So if you're experiencing that, learn from that. But number one thing to do is honestly just continue to scoop it back into the top. Eventually it gels and eventually it stops leaking. If you try to real quick rush and cover up the seams with hot glue, well, that glue is not going to dry in time, so you have to figure that out. The other option you have is using something like this aluminum tape and just doing your best to kind of dam up the hole with as much as possible. It's still not going to work awesome, but
Doing your best is
do
a
your
good-
best. Honestly, do
a
your
good
best.
tip. I have a question for you about
Yeah.
that, but I want to put a question call out to everyone watching. If you have questions about our products or a project you're working on, now's the time while you
Yeah.
got us. So
Yeah, bug me
throw
with
them
them.
our way. Yeah. But when you are using a pre-made mold or
Yeah.
maybe even a mold of your own and the resin sticks to the sides, or maybe you torched your mold a little too extra and you're having a hard time pulling that coaster off. I'm speaking 100% from experience. You're not wrong. I've ripped many mold in my time. I'm not the pro here. Is there a way to not do that? Is it just my carelessness with the torch because I get a little
Fair.
happy using the fire?
Right.
Is it the mold? Is there a way to stop it?
I'll try to answer all those questions.
Awesome. Thank you.
No, I think the main thing to keep in mind, there's a couple things. The first is those silicone molds that you're buying kind of off the shelf. Those are great, especially if you're just getting started. That way you're not taking on 5 skills all at once. You're
Right.
just taking on.
Not a mold maker.
You're not a mold
yet.
maker, right? But you're starting with resin. So full-on encouragement and support to keep doing that. The downside, the downside of using molds like that is they're not usually made of the same high-quality materials that you would be used to if you were doing something like a Plat 10 or a high-strength 3 or something that we would sell. So silicone itself is not as durable intrinsically, so you're fighting that. The second thing is when you're doing resin casting, it's, many of you have heard me say this a million times, it's exothermic. It means how this stuff cures, becomes hard, is actually through the process of heat, or heat is an output of that process. So if you have a silicone that's not necessarily the most durable, and then you're adding resin to it, and that resin is heating up, you're actually you're just asking a lot of that silicone. So you might have 3 or 4 great shots, and then out of nowhere, bam,
It's getting a little melty.
It's getting a little melty, and suddenly it like grips to the side of the wall, and then your mold rips, and it's gross. Excuse me. How to prevent that if you wanted to extend the life of a pre-bought mold? Spray mold release in those, right? It's, mold release oftentimes contains some type of helper, like a silicone itself, actually. So you're, again, causing less of that heat to rip into deeper and deeper within the actual coaster and the mold itself. So it's just more protection, extends the life of it. But my hope is that after you've used a coaster mold 4 or 5 times, your brain starts going, I wonder what else I could do, or I want a coaster that doesn't quite look like this. Then let's graduate into, hey, let's make a master, and then let's make a mold, and let's use quality materials, and then out of nowhere you have something that is completely unique to you, not something else that somebody's bought off the shelf.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
need to stop ruining coaster molds.
Yeah.
We have a few questions. Number one, where is the best place to get resin in the UK or our products? House of Resin.
House of Resin.
All the way. Check with them first. If they don't have what you need, ask them for what you need, and they'll either get it or tell you where to go. They are the best. So, House of Resin all the way.
Good folk.
And then I'm going to scooch up here to Instagram.
Do some scrolling.
So Gary wants to know when we get entered into the Guinness Book of World Records for best resin.
Oh.
Hopefully soon, Gary.
Wow.
That's high praise.
High praise from Derry.
You're the best.
Derry, thank you. It's very kind of you, Derry.
Andreas, I've been using the enhanced UV stability resin for the final finish on my knife handles instead of crazy glue. I was wondering what would be the best way to polish if there is any drip and you wanted to sand it out. So
got it. Polishing process, epoxy drips. Yeah. So if you've never sanded and polished epoxy before, it's a labor-intensive process.
Yes. You do a lot of sanding.
I do a lot of sanding. It's a lot of the respirator and all of that. But the best way to kind of take something that maybe has too much material on it or not quite the finish that you wanted is to, in the case of a cutting board, a larger pour, actually use a slab jig and go across the entire surface of that and level it out and remove material that way. But if you're doing a smaller thing like a knife blank and you want more control, I actually used this method when I was polishing up a ball of aluminum foil into like a shiny sphere. It was a side project, don't worry about that. But actually, you can clamp an orbital sander into a vise, flip it upside down so you have a rotating orbital sanding pad, hook it up to a vacuum, you have dust collection as well. So you're flipping it upside down so that random orbital now is moving. And then what you can do is go through the grits. You can start with really heavy grits. I usually start with 40. That's my go-to kind of bottom of the barrel number. I like how much material that removes. And then it's honestly about stepping up the grits. So for me, when I'm doing a sanding project, bear with me, here we go. See if I can do this in one shot. I normally go 40, 40, 40, 60, 80, 120, 180, 220, 320, 4, 6, switch over to the Abrasilk pads, go 5, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and then finish with a polishing compound. Woo!
Wow. Was that one breath? That felt like one breath? That was a lot.
I got it done now. Yeah, that is, and where you can find that something right now, if you're like, oh my goodness, I want to go through that and I'm ready to do that, go to stonecocountertops.com. They have a polishing kit, right?
Yes.
Our brother brand. We love those guys over there. They're great folk. They have a polishing kit, including compound, including the pads that you can purchase. They'll ship it to you, and it works perfectly. Their sanding starts at 220 because they're in the countertop kind of business. But if you're doing things like removing material, get one of those kits, go to the local hardware store, get your 40s through your 180s, and go from there. And truth be told, you're going to have different results than me. You're probably going to not need the 180. You might jump to 220, but that's what I would recommend. So the water carving that I did, I followed that exact same sanding and polishing process, going from tearing up the surface of something all the way to crystal clear. So
Awesome.
I stand by it.
Awesome.
Stand by it.
Got a little epoxy questions, a couple.
Yeah.
New to epoxy. Happy to hear it, Deb. Glad you're using epoxy.
Welcome, Deb.
Welcome to the live. What paint works with epoxy? I painted a project and then I poured epoxy. The paint color ran.
Oh, interesting. The only paint that I have personally used and had a lot of good success with is acrylic.
Same.
Acrylic is what I go to. We have milk crates in the shop, different colored with old school labels, and one of them is just a crate full of acrylic paint, because that's what we're using. It also works really well for those dirty pours where you're adding silicone oil and mixing up in the cups and then flipping them upside down, all that goodness. So acrylic paint is definitely what I'd recommend. It's going to work really well for you.
Definitely make sure it's dry first.
Yeah, good shot.
Fully dry.
Fully cured is what we say in the resin biz, but
make sure, like, if you're painting inside of your mold, let that fully dry before you pour your resin. If you're painting your resin after you've poured it, make sure it's cured first. Or try out some dyes. I don't know if you've tried our dyes before, but if you don't need that fine detail and just want something to be one or two colors, try dyes, try powders. People in the comments will probably have more suggestions for things because people like to get a little risky with
spice it up.
Yeah, they like to mix things into the epoxy that I would never, in good sense, recommend, but they have success, and so that's what the comment section is for.
Yep.
We can't tell you to do risky things.
We want you to be safe and smart and all of those things, but people like dairy, for example, who we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
They push the limits for us.
They have a lot of fun.
I do need to call out and acknowledge, when I was making that mold, I heard the tape rip.
Oh,
I heard it rip, and I just was like, I'll ignore it. I'll ignore it.
I see it.
I just ignored it, and I didn't fix it because I was trying to impress y'all on this live. And right where I heard it rip, it's starting to leak. So all that to say, number one,
R2D2 starting to peek out.
Starting to peek out. That's okay. This method works, I promise, number one. Number two is, even people like myself make mistakes still. And the other thing I would say to y'all, trust your instincts. If you're hearing something, you're like, I don't know if I hot glued that enough.
Maybe double check.
Double glue it. Go
tape.
for it twice.
This table has seen it all, so we're not really worried about that.
Yeah, come on. I mean, look at this. It's a nightmare. What other questions do y'all have?
Suggestions for someone just starting to get into epoxy or resins? Check out our YouTube channel.
Yep.
First and foremost.
Yep.
Watch some videos and read through the comments section on there too, because if there's something you're curious about, someone has probably asked it.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
For sure.
But we've got a lot of videos that show tutorials, which are great. It kind of shows it working. But we also have a lot of just product overview videos.
Yeah.
A lot of answers to how long can you mix epoxy?
Yep.
How do I mix epoxy?
Yep.
How do I make a mold? I definitely start there. And then go to your local craft store.
Yep. Head to your local craft store, pick some up. If I were to say, what project would be a good one to start, honest advice, maker to maker, I would say pick something that you are genuinely interested in. Not that you think other people are interested in, not that you've seen a lot online. Just pick something that you want to try. You're going to focus more, you're going to give it better effort, you're going to be more excited when it turns out. So start with something you want to try, and don't worry about, is this going to sell, or is this, the coolest thing I've ever seen? Because I'll tell you, the first things I made were not the coolest things I've ever seen before. A lot of them were garbage. So just start with something that you're curious about. Start with something that you want to try, and get yourself kind of into it that way. Photo trays are a starting point too.
Alcohol inks are really fun to play with. That's
cool.
The only thing I do when I come out here to play with epoxy is play with alcohol inks.
Yep.
I'm a beginner. I'll be the first to admit. And it's so much fun.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is fun. I got another one for you.
Yeah.
What is the best way to avoid trapped air bubbles when casting without a pressure pot and incorporating irregular shaped items?
Good.
Let's say I throw a pine cone in there and I've got some bubbles.
Yes. Here's what I would say for that situation. First is I like to start at the source. So how was your mixing? Is my first going to be my first question to you. If you are mixing in a Fury and you're just introducing a lot of air, well, you're just adding more air that you have to get out. So first is try a slower mix. Actually mix slowly. And try to incorporate as little air as possible. That's especially important when you're doing things like deeper molds that have undercuts and you don't have a pressure pot.
Right.
So that's thing number one. Thing number two, you can actually pour either on top of another stick or down the side of a mold itself. That helps eliminate you just dunking and just pouring a bunch of stuff in there and trapping that air. So pour a little bit higher as well. You actually add distance and a thin line so that air can actually get stretched out sometimes. So that's tip number 3. And then tip number 4 would actually be to what's called burp the mold, which is one of my all-time.
Mold burping.
Love a good mold burp. What you actually do is you just pour just a little bit into the mold itself, and then rotate that around, right? So what you do when you rotate that around is you give the material an opportunity to get to the places it wasn't before. So if you've got a large undercut, you can rotate that material around and make sure if there's any air here that it has a chance to kind of come up. If you're dealing with severe undercuts, though, here's my caveat. If you're dealing with severe undercuts and a lot of different technicality, that's when you're going to need to step into venting. Venting is one of the skills in mold making where you actually give air somewhere to go as you are filling up a mold. So you're pushing material down and then the air gets pushed up. I would call that an intermediate technique,
Okay.
maybe.
I don't think we've showed that before.
I don't think we have.
We might need to make a tutorial if people have
Venting.
more questions about that.
For sure.
Yeah.
We can do that. So there's a lot that goes into the mold design in that. But for a basic mold that you're maybe just having a couple trouble spots, mix slowly, pour from a high point, maybe into a tilted mold or onto another stick, try to disrupt that air from getting in there, and then burp the mold, spin it around, try to get an even coverage and try to get all of the air out. So that's what I'd
Correct
recommend.
me if I'm wrong. You can also pre-dunk your item in your mixture.
Like if you're
Like
doing
a
like
rose.
Right. Yeah, we did a pyramid encapsulation with some flowers, and we had some thin, kind of twiggy ones that we weren't super worried about, or I wasn't super worried about air getting in. But a large rose or flower has there's just a lot of surface area where air can actually
A
get
lot of
trapped.
cracks in those petals. Yep.
So before I pour my material into my large mold, I'll actually take that rose, I'll dunk it and turn it upside down and let a epoxy get into it. And I'll do that 2 or 3 times. That just helps mitigate any air that's going to get trapped against the surface because I've already coated it in epoxy before I even dunk it. So little extra tip there for y'all.
Yes.
Other
That encapsulation video was just put up this week.
Yes.
If you should just go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's be real, because these videos aren't going to stop coming.
Nope. They're not.
So there's that note. Let's see what else we've got. Just a humble plug for our channel here.
Well, I'm looking at Derry here. Derry asked, what are the main ingredients in Alumilite Clear?
Derry, I'll send you the safety data sheet.
We'll send you the safety data sheet for sure. But for those of you, Alumilite Clear, if you've not heard of that before, we have Alumilite Clear and Alumilite Clear Slow. Those are urethane casting resins, crystal clear urethane casting resins. If you've used epoxy before, this is not that. I would call them
correct.
brother, sister, maybe? Cousin?
Cousins.
I like cousin.
Yeah.
Cousin's nice. But yeah, so it's a completely different material used for different things, has different features and benefits, is fully cured in 5 to 7 days, just like epoxy, but actually is demoldable within 90 minutes. Nice. So completely different than the epoxy you're working with, completely different limitations.
Not FDA
compliant, not for surface coating, not for river tables. So there's a lot of learning that goes into that.
Those are very, very nuanced. Here's another one for you that is also
fire away.
Cutting boards and epoxy.
Yeah.
Is that safe? Does it work? Can you use it? FDA compliance?
What's the deal?
Yeah, what's the deal with an epoxy cutting board?
For sure. So first things first, use your best judgment. If you're nervous about something, I'm just giving you life advice
Life
now.
advice with
Forget
Jordan.
anything else.
Can we get a new segment?
Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. No, so I think for cutting boards and for things like that, it is FDA compliant material when it's fully cured. So that 5 to 7 days. So
And
first of all,
mixed properly. And
mixed
that's
properly.
on you.
Yes.
So
You got to mix it properly. You know, we're not sitting here waiting for you to mix it poorly. In fact, I put out a mixing video that shows you how to mix it perfectly, including the double cup method, which ensures you don't have any unmixed material. So, so check that out. So it is FDA compliant after the full cure. If you mix it together, well, it's still FDA compliant. The question becomes when you're using it as a cutting board, what's the issue there? One of the issues that you can have is you can end up cutting, and then what you think is pieces would come off there. So always clean the cutting board. Don't just leave it where stuff and chunks are coming off. The same is true of other cutting boards.
Yeah, my plastic one is very beat up.
Right. So you're just naturally, when you're cutting any substance, you are just, you know, essentially putting pieces of that substance into what you're doing, whether it be microscopic or whether it be a big chunk. With resin, it's not going to be a big chunk. It's probably going to be more of that microscopic zone, but it is FDA compliant for sure. So you don't have to worry about that from a safety standpoint. Is it durable?
Yeah, if it scratches up and it starts to look a little dull or dingy.
You know what you got to do? Recoat it. Recoat it and finish it again.
Easy.
Yeah, so you don't have to, you know, throw away a cutting board that you or somebody else put a lot of work into. You can just sand it down with a little 120 and then just give it a top coat. And then you're back to a beautiful, clean, perfect surface and a perfect finish.
I do believe Matt has been working on a video about that for us.
Is that right?
Oh, an entrance
Look at that.
from Matt.
You get a thumb, y'all.
Up.
Sorry, Instagram.
Instagram, you didn't get the thumbs up, but Matt gave us a thumbs
Fair
up.
enough.
He's working on a video. Again, just a humble plug of the old YouTube channel.
We're going to come up with some segment where we get Matt in here.
YouTube.com/Alumilite Corporation.
Go
The
check
Stone
it out.
Coat Countertop Creation team is here. Again,
What up,
digging the
fam?
sweatshirts. What's up?
You know?
These are ours. We hold them over everyone's heads.
Apparently, I wear this enough. I mean, we're talking, fam, I've hand-sewn repairs to this, so they're heavily used.
They're well loved. But apparently, Matt's getting a couple hays in the chat.
What up, man? People say, what's up?
Apparently, people might love these sweatshirts as much as we love these sweatshirts.
I never thought about that.
Mind-blowing.
It's good to keep in mind.
Just become a sweatshirt company.
It's decided. Resins are over.
Yeah.
Tell you what other questions we have.
What's up? Let's see.
Should I
got
try
a
to
hey
should I try
Matt,
to
we
get to
got a
the
what's up.
Instagram? Should I try to see what's going on?
Someone wants to see if we have a finished mold of the R2D2.
Oh, yeah, I do. Can y'all hold on for a sec?
We can hold. I'll entertain the people. Just kidding. I don't sing or anything like that, so we're just going to sit here. Hope that's cool. This is unfair.
It was not
This is
that
unfair.
long, y'all. That was not that long. That was
No, no
pretty
one
short.
even gave hearts in the chat. I was a little
come
upset.
on, man.
A little upset.
Show Tay some love.
Yeah, I'm the one texting you guys every day, all right? I'm Taylor from Alumilite. So
Yeah, this is who it's coming
Give me
from.
the love.
So this is this is high strength 1. It is high strength 1. Took me like 2 seconds there, but that's your finished R2D2 mold. So
I can smell it. I can smell it.
Can you smell
Yeah,
it?
silicone has an interesting,
Yep,
just a slight smell.
yeah. It's kind of. I actually like it.
It's almost like a cleaner.
makes me feel like I'm doing hard work. You know what I mean? It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good
I
thing.
mean, you made that. So.
I did. So yeah, this is high strength 1. So high strength 1 is kind of this pink Pepto-Bismol color. You know, I'm sure we're giving Matt the greatest time trying to focus in on a very bright pink color here. See if I can give you a few shadows there, Matt. But for y'all, this is what the
there it is.
there you go. That's the finished R2D2 mold right there. It was a 3D printed part, actually. So, I should talk about that, shouldn't I?
Yeah. We got some 3D printers out there.
If you're a 3D
I'm sure
printer,
there are.
I hope so. 3D printing is awesome. I am getting into it. I'm learning about it. I'm teaching myself how to do CAD as well. But 3D printing is a plastic, and usually people don't like that as the finished product. So what you can do with our tin-based silicones, that's our high strength, is you can actually make molds of that 3D printed part, turn it into something completely different, crystal clear or a different color. Or, man, don't even use resin. Use concrete. You know, use whatever you want. So mold making and 3D printing,
That's so cool.
it's like a best friend on
so
a bus. You know, you just pals. You just get along perfectly.
Yeah.
So
Or
there you go.
Your live buddy, you might say.
One might say
One might say.
a live friend. There you go.
I use, not I, but I as in Robert. I'm going to read Robert's.
I is Robert.
I use Robert. I use CA glue for a pen finish on hybrid wood and resin pen blanks. I think that's a pretty common use.
It is.
I get cracking from it. Is there a resin you make that can be used to go over a finished pen or ring and work better than CA glue?
Great question. You can use our Amazing Clearcast. That's what if I were to use a resin, I would use the Amazing Clearcast. What you are going to fight is the open time there.
Okay.
You know,
It's a long open time.
It's a long open time. So if you're dealing with trying to recoat something, especially something that isn't flat, right? It has 3 dimensions to it, and you're looking for an even coat. That's where you actually do something that, you know, where you're still spinning something and you need it to cure while it's spinning. Think like tumbler makers know this.
Tumbler turner.
Tumbler turners do this all the time, right? They get an even, beautiful finish because that tumbler never stops turning. So that's what you're kind of going to need in that situation. The CA glue cures really quickly, so that's the advantage of it. Yeah, so that's, you know, I would say if you're going to do that, I would use the resin and then let it cycle a lot. But I wouldn't recommend doing that. What I would recommend doing is going through the polishing process. So we actually created and made a polishing kit that is directed towards wood turners. You heard me do.
I don't think I knew that.
Did you not know that?
No.
I don't. Okay, I can do another grit jump if you need
Is
me
this
to.
on Alumilite.com?
This is on Alumilite.com.
Perfect.
It starts, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember exactly where it starts, maybe at 500 or 1,000, I think. So if you're doing intense sanding, you're going to need some of those, like Wood River strips or whatever they use to get
Yep.
it sanded up.
Yep.
But then that polishing kit is actually a wet polishing kit, goes all the way up to 20,000.
Okay.
So at 20,000, you're not going to need that top coat, recoat surface. It's a beautiful process. And if you're a wood turner, so there you go. Okay.
Matthew, our Facebook Live just ended. Yep, okay. Okay.
Cool.
Perfect. We are
Okay.
back on Facebook. Let's make sure that that's
We don't want to
up
lose
and
y'all.
kicking. No, we don't.
Okay.
We want to make sure our friends are here.
Any questions?
Getting ready to use High Strength 3 this weekend for the exact same thing. Avoids cure inhibition. Yep. 3D printed.
3D printed parts.
That's the way to go.
Get that high strength line. It is fantastic. Works perfectly every time. Guaranteed.
All right.
Just mix it appropriately.
We're
10
back
to 1.
on Facebook.
10 to 1 by weight there. So keep that in mind. Other things. I'm going to throw a bonus out there.
You should. You should throw a bonus out
Because
there.
y'all have stuck with us for a while now, and I'm just going to give you a bonus, and that is the silicone mat.
Oh, yeah. That's a good unlock.
It's a good unlock.
Recently sent one to Kim.
Did you send one to Kim? Oh.
Kim is our friend over at Period Nirvana as her Instagram account.
right.
You can search her. She'll show up. She makes awesome, well, she runs an entire company, which is incredible, but she makes display molds, anatomical.
Yeah.
Molds isn't the word.
Display pieces. Yeah.
I'm
Teaching
really
educational
struggling.
pieces.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, but also resin casts,
That's
all
right.
of her accessories,
I can't even-
anything
yeah,
that
just-
might be on display.
That's right.
So we sent her a little one of
sent her
these,
one of these,
while
right.
she mixy mixes.
That's right. So this is just, literally I poured this silicone onto a piece of acrylic, and I did that just because I wanted it shiny and glossy. But this is just, in total, I think I did 75 grams A, 75 grams B. So this is right here a very cost-effective way to give you a surface that no resin is going to stick to. So if you have a cup of resin and it's leaky and it's drippy, you don't want to ruin your table, if you set it on this, that cup can be taken off once your project is done, once it's all over, and it'll peel right off this silicone. So you can do a simple circle like this just by dumping and pouring, or I actually set up a couple 2x4s and just clamped them together and made myself a much larger square one as well.
Where did these
And
colors come from? Because I know we don't sell silicones that look like this.
Really?
We don't.
She's 100%
We don't
right.
do it.
Of course. We have silicone dyes as well. So if you're using our plat line in particular, that is that kind of translucent color that you saw with the R2D2 earlier, you can add actual color to it. You can add dye. So if you're, let's say the end product that you're trying to make is silicone, well, now you can make it a color.
I'm going to grab one.
Yeah, they're going to be very messy. You have been forewarned. But yeah, so you can get a really cool green color like this. People use the dye to really distinguish between either a part A or part B of a mold, the two halves of a mold, or what's in the mold itself. If you're doing a lot of mold making, suddenly you just look at big blocks of silicone, you can't remember what's what. So it's a good organizational tool and works in other things as
I
well.
want to clarify that it's not resin dye.
No, it's not resin dye.
Silicone pigment specifically.
Yes.
So don't just throw some Alumilite dye in there. We do sell this. It's our Polytech brand. You can see this one is the blue by how there's blue everywhere. But
Yep.
got that one.
And
Got
then
a
that's
little
the
bit of the green.
There it is.
We also have red and black and yellow,
And
like a skin.
red,
tan.
black. Yeah, we have white as well, so you can mix colors and get different shades. So if you have
That's
not checked
awesome.
out silicone dyes, check out silicone dyes. So
Customize them.
easy peasy.
Yeah.
Other questions? Otherwise, I mean, we've spent a good amount of time together here. As we kind of wrap up, get your last questions in, and then also those segments that I've mentioned a little bit earlier, the DIY demos, the fix-its, you know, whether you're sending in footage or photos to us, we're going to, you know, explore doing that. Let us know if you want us to do that. This is your time, like we said, right? This isn't about us showing you the cool things we're making. This is about us helping you make what you want to make.
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
Maybe I'll
here.
put a little post out into the world, have people comment on it, what segments they want to see, what they want to hear us talk about. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe we silent live and just
My
make stuff.
dream. I'll just make stuff inside. I'll have
We
my.
are very introverted.
I'll put my AirPods in too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really.
You're
feel
singing
alone.
along, you're dancing and mixing up some silicone.
Terrible.
Yeah, let's see.
Cool.
Question. Someone thinks
Awesome.
it's a good idea for us to do a sample kit of cured pieces of silicone to get a little bit of a durometer.
To understand.
And I don't think that's a bad idea, but I'm wondering if there's a way to show everyone next time on the live
how squishy
what
it all
that
is.
all looks like. Yeah, up close and personal.
All right, I got a question for everybody that's still with us. If you're still here, and it looks like somebody on Instagram has a question, so put that question out there. If you're still here, what I want to know is I've done these science explainer videos of kind of some of the what's going on within everything that you're seeing. If you want, during a live, I would be happy to do a science experiment with everybody so that they can see things like how bouncy is silicone, or how stretchy it is, or how hard can you pull apart a mold before it rips. If you want to see stuff like that, I'm down. We're all down.
Yeah.
We're here to help in any way. So
Maybe people don't want to talk about silicones, and we've just been torturing them for 50 minutes though. So
That's true.
if that's the case, also
Please let us
We
know.
won't be offended, but we're just really excited about
We are.
silicones.
because it's a lot of fun. It's a next time
It is,
look.
and they're green and blue.
That's right.
So.
All right. Unless there's any other questions.
Someone said I have a question, and then they haven't asked the question, so we're gonna let them type for a
That's
second.
right. I also don't have my glasses, so I apologize.
Don't worry, I've got science explainer vids were pretty cool. Yes,
Aw.
science, I'm in.
Science.
So
Nerds like me, I love it.
it's like a win. I like those videos. That would be awesome. More science. All info is good info.
All info is good info. Science, science, science. You know, if we want science, I'm going to give you science. We're going to go for it. So there it is.
Science, science, science.
Science, science, science.
Is that our new tagline for these?
It's my tagline. It's at least it's my life tagline now. So
You got it.
Okay.
I think that's it.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, thank you for being here. If you're on Instagram, direct eye contact, thank you for being here as well. We love you. We love all of you here.
Yes.
This is your time. Let us know how you want to use it with us. And then until next time, au revoir.
Yes. I do see a couple Instagram questions, Matt. You can feel free to cut.